Hi there, welcome to the channel. My name's Zach, and today I'm very excited because I've got my Panniers system from SW Motec. Okay, so this is it. It's the 37 litre Pannier system. It's the Trax Adventure model. Alright, so what I'm also going to go through is what you get in the box, and I'm going to install small little bits and pieces like the locks, and there's some latch handles and stuff like that needs to go on. I'm going to do that inside here, and then later on we're going to attach all of this stuff onto the bike. Okay, so a quick run through. You get two of these frames which attach to the bike. These are the 37 litre actual panniers. You get a lock set. You get the attachments that this will actually go onto the bike. This will go onto the number plate of the bike. You get all the nuts and bolts that you need. The only thing that doesn't come with is some thread locker, and they do suggest using it on some of the bolts, so that you'll have to go out and buy, but as you can see it's fairly cheap. And here are more of the bits and pieces, the bits and bobs that you get. So it's not a very complicated system. We'll get on to it now. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to start off with is the safety latches on this pannier here. Comes with a little bag. So I have to say, if you've ever built any Lego or made any IKEA furniture, you're pretty much qualified enough to do this. It's really not hard. There's nothing too technical in it. Okay, so there's some snap-on screws that you screw in here, which this side will kind of go on, and then the other side there's these little inserts and screws, and they will go in over here. There's a little hole, and that's all it is really. As I said, quite simple. One thing to note is there's a little L and an R on these, and you need to make sure they're on the right side. So basically you've got to go by driving side, so the L basically goes on the right if you look at the tub here. And then when you're closing the lid, you have to make sure that you push these in for the first time. I think it basically helps the plastic kind of remember which way it's supposed to bend in, and you got to make sure that they don't crimp on the lid here. Okay, so as you can see, that's on, and basically all that does is just stops the lid from completely overextending. So now I'm going to move on to putting a lock in here. Also very simple, as you can see in the instructions. It's basically just two parts. I think the only thing to note is which way this metal clip is going. And there's two different systems, the Adventure and the Trax, and it's just a matter of which way this is facing. Okay, so to install the lock, all we do is make sure that this is facing upwards as you insert it. It sort of fits inside. Then in the underneath, making sure that this U is facing downwards. Install it under there, and you basically just push the clip until it clips in, and that's it. It's all locked in. So this is underneath the lock here, and this is where the metal piece just kind of clips in, a little clip. You just push it in there. So then all you've got to do is just repeat the process for this latch on the side, and then the other two on the other box. Alright, so next I'm going to install all the little bits and pieces that need to go on here. So what you'll need is this packet with these nuts and bolts and this metal piece over here. So the tools you'll need is an Allen key. I'll use this as a bit of a leverage, and a 10mm socket. So as I said before, the instructions are very simple. Basically they just show exactly which holes everything needs to go into, The left and the right is exactly the same, just reversed. One thing to note is to not tighten this up all the way, because you have to use this to sort of adjust where this will eventually clip onto the bike. So get it to the point where you can just like move it around a bit, but not so that it's too loose that it'll just move all over the place. Okay, next take one of these, put the bolt in, find the nut, find the hole it needs to go into, and attach it. There's 4 of these to do, and then once that's done, the thing's ready to go. It's just a matter of getting this into the final position. As you can see, I've tightened it just enough to be able to move it around, and then we'll clip it onto the actual pannier. Okay, once all 4 are on, we're going to stick it onto the actual pannier, and then I'm going to try and close the latch, make sure it connects all up nicely, and then I'm going to take it off and then retighten these so that that all fits perfectly. Okay, so now you join me in the shed where I'm going to attach this now to the left side of the bike. I'm only going to show you the left side because the right side will be pretty much the same thing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this bracket over here. Okay, as you can see, I've put that on and I've left it loose because I think there's a bit of fine adjusting to get this, because it can be, you know, either side here. So just leave that loose until the rest of the stuff is on. And now I'm going to move on to taking these off. Okay, so now you take this part here, put one of these in here, put the spacer in between, put the thread lock on here, and then it goes in onto the bike. So as you can see, this is now attached. And now I'm going to remove the passenger peg. Okay, so this is the part I'm going to install next. It goes on to the passenger peg that we just took off. Use the bolt that they've supplied and some thread locker, and then place it on to the bike. Okay, so that's what it should look like. I'll move on to the next part. Okay, so now it's time to attach the actual frame to the bike and use one of these special attachments. You're going to put one underneath, then this through all the metal on the frame, then a big screwdriver to attach it. Okay, so that's it all connected. Still haven't tightened this up yet because I want to put the other side on first. But I'm going to get the box and chuck it on and see what it looks like. Okay, so here it is with the box on. That is quite wide. So this is what it looks like without the boxes on. And this is what it looks like with the boxes on.